When are you going to be ready?
Fucking, right now, I guess.
Cool. Alright.
Got my coffee.
Coffee.
My coffee.
Your coffee.
My Java. That's how you know somebody's a pretentious douche when they call their coffee Java.
Java. Alright, so
Java.
3, 2, 1. What's been going on in the world lately? We got the whole Nice, France thing.
Thought it was nice.
It's Nice.
Nice.
Nice, yes.
Damn French. Looks nice to me. Hey.
It doesn't look too nice after the other night.
Yeah, dude. Holy shit. You gonna do some reading, or are we just gonna go right into it?
We could just go right into it. I don't really have any reading. I'm sure. I would at least hope that most people have already heard what happened. That during a celebration, the celebration that France has every year, celebrating their country, there was what some believe is a terrorist attack. I don't think it's been officially reported as a terrorist attack yet, because no terrorist sect has claimed responsibility.
Yeah, nobody's claiming it. Nobody's saying, hey,
but
we did that. And they're all jumping up and down with their AK-47s in the air, and they're beating their wives with sticks and stuff. Because that's what terrorists do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking people.
But during the celebration, a 31-year-old man, drove a box truck.
Notice how they scrub that, man.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? What's his nationality or whatever? Where's he from? Like, what kind of man is this? Like, is this like a normal, like a French national? Is this somebody from another country? Is this one of those migrants? Is he like undocumented worker? What's going on here? Like, who is he?
Well, he wasn't born in France, from what I understand. I should have all this information here, but I don't. While I'm looking for it.
But it's not your fault, though. Like, because they're not telling you. Like there was a mass stabbing in a mall in London. This is like back during the wintertime. And they refused to identify the attacker, and it turned out it was one of those migrants from Syria. They say it's from Syria, but a lot of those migrants are from Afghanistan, Sudan. Where else are they from? From like Jordan, I think. There was 3 countries there. Lauren Southern, she went into the migrant camps just to see if she could find somebody from Syria. And she interviewed like 100 people, more than 100 people. And she found like one person from Syria.
Jeez.
And none of them said that they were trying to escape from a war zone. And they said that, we come here for education, we come here for find work. It wasn't like they bombed my house, I watched my family get hacked up, anything like that. It was just like, we came here because we were told that you didn't have to work and we'll get free stuff.
Jesus. Well,
I mean, it's not even in the migrant camps, just in the migrant camps. I mean, it's all over Europe. You see it.
Yeah. Well, quickly back on this, I did find some information here. The 31-year-old man, his name was Mohammed Lahouj. I can't say it. I can't say his last name. Lahouj.
I don't know what you're looking at. I can't see it.
He was raised in northeast Tunisia and moved to France around 2005. He had a minor criminal record for threats, violence, theft, and vandalism. Let's see. But his name was not in the government database of radicalized militants. So he, Mr. Muhammad, drove a 19-ton refrigeration vehicle, not a box truck, I apologize, through a crowd at around 10:45 p.m. in Nice, France. He drove about 1.5 miles.
I want to stop you there just for a second.
Yeah.
When I was going to school to get my Class A CDL, there was 2 Muslims in the class with me. One was Muhammad. The other one, I forget his name. He was. I mean, they were okay, both of them. But the one was okay. He fled from Tunisia because he didn't want to work for their Air Force, for their military. Like, his father was in some money, and he bribed the Air Force to get him to become an aircraft mechanic to work on the jets.
Jeez.
And he didn't want to do that, so he fled here. And then the other one, Muhammad, he was like the stereotypical bad kind of Muslim. Like, he would expose himself to the women in the parking lot. Like, class would let out, and everybody's driving away, and he would be, pissing on the side of his van. And then as the women would drive past, he would turn around so they could see him taking a piss. And he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I mean, it just shows, some of the character from that area. I mean, there's obviously there's good ones, and obviously there's bad ones, and I've got a taste of both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I've had the opportunity to sit down and talk to him. I can't remember what the one kid's name was, but he said that basically in his hometown, they would open up arcades and stuff because there wasn't much for the kids to do. Mm-hmm. And then they would lure them into the arcades. Free games, free computers, do whatever you want. You could smoke and do whatever you wanted there. And then out of those kids, they would pick them and try to get them to radicalize. And he said, I was involved at one point, but I didn't want to do that. That wasn't me. So he ran. He was getting pressure from both sides. Like, his father wanted him to fight in the military, and then the village elders wanted him to go and radicalize and fight for them, and he didn't want to do any of that. He came to America and became a truck driver. He was an okay dude. So, I mean,
a little bit on both sides.
There's good and bad.
Yeah,
right?
and I mean, I'm definitely not sitting here saying that we need to worry about.
No, I'm not accusing you of that at all. But I think we really should be careful with who we're letting into this country.
Well, back on the story, he drove for 1.5 miles, killing at least 84 people, including, and this is the tough part, 10 children.
That's
10
a hell
children,
of a body count with a truck.
10 children and teenagers, and there were 202 wounded. So you're talking about almost 300 people were hit, most likely hit by this truck. Now, he did exchange gunfire with the police officers at one time.
So it's definitely like he wasn't like sick or having like a heart attack or something.
No. They did find weapons as well as grenades in the truck with him. So,
how do you get hand
grenades?
Wait,
I'm sorry. Contrary to the initial reports that the truck was full of weapons and explosives, it says that the cargo hold contained a bicycle and 8 empty pallets. That's it. I'm sorry. The cab contained an automatic 7.65 millimeter pistol, 2 fake assault rifles, and a non-functioning grenade. And then a cell phone and unspecified documents that police were analyzing. So, I mean,
fake AK-47s.
That's kind of weird. There's been no.
That seems like a really weird report there.
There's been no group to claim, responsibility for this, and maybe because he wasn't a part of any certain group. I'm sure as time goes on, there may be some more unveiled about what was going on. Now, they are questioning his ex-wife. Or I saw at least today they were questioning his ex-wife. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe, did you ever see the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas? You just snap and shit just goes bad. maybe that's kind of what happened with him. I don't know. Again, I can't sit here and say it was a terrorist attack. Even watching the news the other night as it was happening, seeing the footage, it just didn't seem like it was a terrorist attack. Like, to me, they try to strike as much terror into people as much as they could, and you had to think, if he was doing something like that, he had ample opportunity to set up a bomb or something like that to kill so many more people. Not saying that, what he did was, just nothing. No, I mean, killing 84 people is tragic, but something just doesn't seem right. Like, I don't think it's connected with terrorists. We could be wrong, but it doesn't sound like it is.
He could have been inspired.
True.
Could have got inspiration. So, I mean, it might not be directly connected. He might not have direct connections with these terrorist groups, but he might share the same mindset. So, but from the Daily Mail, they're saying that he drank alcohol, ate pork, and took drugs. He was not a Muslim.
Yeah, well, there you have it. I mean, if that's true, it
says the truck's terrorist cousin reveals he is an unlikely jihadist who beat his wife and never went to a mosque. So, I mean, there's definitely something going on with this dude.
Yeah. And again, we'll find out as time goes on. Definitely. It's just, for how much death is happening in this world right now, it's absurd. It's,
his cousin, as I'm looking at this report here, it says his cousin said he was a shit and a nasty piece of work. This is what they quote him as saying, and never observed the rules of Islam. So maybe the guy is just cruel, mean-hearted, and you see that a lot with these terrorists. Maybe that's what these people are. And they're, obviously, you see it with all religions.
Yeah.
You use religion as a vehicle to fuel their hate, and to justify the things that they do. Because we know how everybody loves bashing Christians, and the Christians did it with the pagans, and the pagans did it with Jews and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't really even know where I'm going with that, but
yeah, I'm just. we'll leave it at that until we get more information on that.
The listeners know the type of character this dude was.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure he probably shares similar traits with other attackers.
But, I mean, much like last week, whenever we had our last episode, we talked a little bit about Dallas. We had very little information on the antagonist and what he did to, or what were his motives in what happened. We now know that in Dallas, he just wanted to kill white cops. That was it. That was his motive. So we don't quite know what the motive is here in Nice yet. But I'm sure that it'll come out eventually, probably sooner rather than later. But
I think Dallas kind of, as that got revealed, I think it really helps to paint a picture of these radicalist groups, and they really are hell-bent on committing terror.
Yeah.
Terrorizing people, and just, based on their political and ideological beliefs. And when you use violence to get your way or to influence certain things, that's what makes you a terrorist. Like, you could be the most hateful person in the world, but you're not violent.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're not a terrorist at that point. The moment you go and use violence, that's when it becomes terrorism.
Yeah,
we have to be clear on that. So, is this truck driver a terrorist? He might be. I don't know. I don't know what the guy's politics were. He might not be a devout Muslim, but he might have his own beliefs. He might not be the type that goes to a church or a mosque. And there are deeply religious people that never go to church, right? Even on the Christian side.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, there's definitely something going on with this guy. I don't want to write it off. I mean, there's there's some deep problems going on here that I think we have yet to rectify, yet to come to understand. So that's my piece on that.
Something interesting was just asked by one of the members of our Facebook group, Jason Reef, on Common Sense, the final chapter. And I want to bring this up because it's actually a really interesting question. I want to get your thoughts on this right now. He goes, I have a feeling I know how most of you will answer this, but I figured I'd ask anyway. How will history remember Obama when all is said and done? Where would you rank him amongst the other presidents?
Oh, he's going to be remembered as a traitor. I think he will. If it all depends, though, who's writing the history book, right? If the people that are writing the history book are aligned with his beliefs, then they'll say he was the greatest one of them all. But if they align with other beliefs, they'll say that he's the worst.
Yeah.
If they even say any of that at all, it might just be a footnote in American history.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, take a look at President Bush, W.
He'll always be remembered as the first black president, no matter what, and he'll be celebrated for that.
True, but I mean, take a look at W right now. When we talk about him, towards the end of his run as president, so many people were they talked so negative about him. Because they believe he mishandled, the war on terror.
Well, just look at how he came into his presidency. Remember?
Yeah.
With Al Gore, and he had Supreme Court decisions, and
yeah, very true, very true. But his whole everybody remembers W for what happened on the war on terror. That's what people remember, because him sitting there saying that we will find Osama bin Laden, we will defeat him, we will kill him, and then finding out about, or then stating that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, going into Iraq, not finding anything. People, though, forget that he was the reason why Saddam Hussein was defeated and was captured. People forget that. People forget that bin Laden was captured because of what he did. While it didn't happen while he was president, so they say. Again, that's maybe for
there's
a far
so
side.
Many things that could be said about that.
But, again...
not everybody agrees.
The public believes that he was...
storyline with bin Laden.
But the American public, for the most part, believes that it happened under Obama's watch. So, people forget, though, that it was W who did all that. And he gets a bad rap because of people believes that he lied about the weapons of mass destruction, or that he wasn't very... successful in his war on terror, and then people obviously want to state that it was all about oil for him, again, whether you believe that or not. That's how people look at him. Now we take a look at Obama right now, and what has he done? If anything, he has made our country less safe than it ever has been, because he hasn't been willing to fight terror. He hasn't been willing to fight what is out there. But you then sit here and people don't say that. People don't say, oh, he's been a coward, which he has been. He has been a complete coward. Nobody sits here and says that. Why? That you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
What do you mean by nobody?
Well, I mean, the
press?
the mass media.
The thinking that happens in most Americans' minds come from mainstream media. So a lot of people aren't thinking for themselves in this matter. You have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So, if people, you see it a lot, you see them repeating the same phrases, using the same terms. You know that their mind has been taken over and influenced from somewhere else. So, the reason why we're not seeing anybody calling Obama out for any of this stuff was because the person controlling Obama is the same person or group of people controlling the press. And there's really only a few sources that are detractors from this mainstream narrative. I
don't know. I mean, I I truly believe that Obama, like you said, is going to be remembered as the first black president, which, if you really think about it, he is not, I mean, he looks African American, but he was raised by a white family. Okay, you know?
I really don't even want to make it about race with him.
It's not, but that's what people are going to remember him for.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, if you're a race-minded person, that would be important.
And then with that, I mean, you're going to take a look, and people are just going to say, "Oh, look at what he did for the country. Look at the unemployment rate going down with him," which it did slightly go down.
He really didn't do much to help the economy.
But
he furthered these trade deals. He basically busted down the door and allowed China in, allowed them free reign over the economy. Like it's not well spoken of. It's not talked about a lot. But the Chicago Stock Exchange was bought by the Chinese. Our main ports are all owned by the Chinese. You know, Walmart is selling all Chinese goods. So they're to really blame, not the Chinese per se, but the people that have allowed them free reign inside of our country.
Yeah.
And haven't been supportive of American businesses.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's unfortunate because people aren't going to see the real, you know, the full picture, or they won't choose to see it.
Yeah, they refuse to.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, in my eyes, I think that he's been one of the worst presidents. I won't say he was the worst, but he will be in my eyes, one of the worst presidents that we've ever had, because we are A, not better off, and B, worse off than we were when he went into office 8 years ago. So, in my eyes, there's no way that you can say that he was a good president at all, in any way at all. I think there's more fear in Americans today than there has ever been.
He should have never been allowed to take the presidency. He's just basically a grassroots activist. That's all he's good at doing. He's not a leader. I think people are going to see this further down the line. When like you see it a lot throughout history when we talk about history, and the people aren't alive from the era and are not attached to it, and there's no I guess
connection.
No, not connection per se. I mean, yeah, they're connected, obviously, but it's not emotionally. There's no emotional investment.
Gotcha.
In the circumstances, so people, when they become detached from it that way, they'll speak a little more honest about it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if Americans weren't invested emotionally in Obama, as they all are, they would see how terrible of a leader he really is. He's out there, you know, blaming cops and calling police departments racist in so many ways. And he's out there, and then you see Bernie Sanders. Like, he says, oh, we need to be one people. We need to come together. And then, in the same breath, those women, those Native Americans, those blacks, those Asians, white people don't know what it's like to be poor. It's like, wait a minute. I thought this was a unity message, and now you're cutting everybody up basically on every single kind of demographic there is.
Yeah.
And using, white males as a scapegoat. Really, that's what it is. I mean, if you can't excel because you're not equipped to do it, it's not the successful people's fault. Like, you can't name one racist law that's made to hold down any other race or any other creed, or even sexes, to divide the sexes up. You can't point it out.
No.
You can try. You can. I'll be more than willing to argue with you on it. You can contact me on Twitter if you disagree. Go ahead. I'll talk to you all day about it.
Let's see. Well, some other stuff going on right now. Don't really want to get too much into this because, again, it just happened today. But there was a military coup attempt in Turkey. So far, the reports, there's been 754 people arrested, and that there's been thousands of people injured across the country. Now, the reason that I heard, and my source from this was just what I was watching on Fox News whenever this happened. I literally turned my TV on and was just flipping through the channels, and I came across it. It sounds like they were worried of their country kind of going in the same direction that Egypt went towards. What was that back in
with the Muslim Brotherhood?
Back in 2012 was that, when they had all those riots and everything happened there, and that's what they were worried about, that their country was just going to get like that. So what the military ended up doing was staged a coup and have taken control.
It was Obama's work right there in Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood.
So,
Hillary Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, she's involved with the Muslim Brotherhood, and the Muslim Brotherhood is funded by CARE and the United Muslim League, and they get their funding through the Saudis.
Yeah.
So it's directly connected. You can connect it all with Saudi Arabia. And now, and just today, well, I guess this will be released on Saturday. This is Friday evening right now as we're recording it, going into Saturday morning. The redacted 28 pages were released from the 9/11 Commission report, and it lays bare the connections with the Saudis and how the Saudi intelligence officers were connected with the hijackers. And you see the money trail, how they gave them what's reported or what's thought to be fake passports. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't tell if they weren't fake or not. I mean, if they're real or they aren't, right? Like, where's the record keeping? Where's the accountability? I mean, that aside, getting into the details, getting lost in details here, but it shows you the roots of this terrorism. And it's in Saudi Arabia, and it's definitely rooted in Islam. And Saudi Arabia is home to their holy city, Mecca. I mean, what more do you need to know, really? The enemy is Saudi Arabia. There, I said it. Okay? We fucking bombed everybody else but them. And then we took out their foes in the region, and the Bushes were in bed with the Saudis, big time. Bandar bin Laden, he was a Saudi contractor who built all the military bases, huge contractor, and he's related to the Saudi royal family. So there you go. And the bin Laden family was allowed to leave the country. Everybody else, all their airlines were grounded after 9/11, and who was allowed to fly out? This bin Laden family. So there you go. We got our executive branch was influenced by Saudi money. Controlled, oil barons, and the Bush family's real big in oil. You have Dick Cheney with Halliburton Group, big contractor in Saudi Arabia. They're all in bed with each other, and they allowed this to happen. So we all know what went down that day. I think I'm done with my rant there.
All right. Yeah, I really don't have much to say.
I could go for hours on that.
I haven't read the documents or even skimmed over them yet at all. I have seen that they were released, thanks to you posting them for me. But yeah, I just haven't had time tonight.
You don't even see it in the news, really. I mean, it's like a footnote. Oh yeah, 28 pages, blood. Back to this other shit going on.
Well, that's exactly it. They find ample opportunity. Like, okay, something else.
You see that with Hillary Clinton. I'm sorry to talk over you.
You're fine.
I can't stand it. You know, like Hillary Clinton gets let off the hook with FBI, and then bang, Dallas happens. And then they're released in 28 pages, and they focus on what happened in Nice and what's happening in Turkey. And they're not showing you what's going on internally inside of our government right now. Because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to pay attention. They want you distracted. We got to stay focused.
Well, it's too easy to get distracted in today's world, so that's the big problem.
Chase around invisible Pokemon, guys. Not that I mean, you know, there's people that are fans and stuff, and it's a lot of people just can't be bothered with the heavy facts, I guess.
Yeah.
I like calling them heavy facts. That's my thing. It's heavy, man. Laying some heavy shit down, bro. Yeah.
Let's see here. Now, the big news of the week, in preparation for the Republican National Convention next week, Donald Trump has announced who his running mate will be for vice president, and he picked Governor Mike Pence of Indiana. Now, he is a 57-year-old Republican. He was voted as the 50th governor of Indiana, elected in 2012. And then
what you were saying.
Before he was governor, from 2001 to 2013, he was a member of the U.S. House of Representatives. He was also the chairman of the House Republican Conference and chairman of the Republican Study Committee. In 2006, he ran to be minority leader of the House, but lost to John Boehner. Pence previously worked as an attorney at a private practice and launched 2 failed congressional bids before getting a job at a think tank. He also hosted a talk radio show and a TV show in Indiana. So that's a little bit of a background behind Mike Pence.
What was the think tank that he worked for?
It doesn't say. I'm reading this off of ABC News, so again, they're not going to give you all the information.
I want to know the think tank he worked for.
Now, he did take some heat for likening the Supreme Court's decision to uphold the Affordable Care Act to the 9/11 Terrorist Act at a closed-door meeting. He did later apologize. Not really sure what that was.
It's true, though, because how they forced the Patriot Act through.
Yeah.
And then they did the same thing with the Affordable Care Act. Oh, you got to pass it to see what's in it. It's like, all right, we already know it's a damn scam.
All right, now here's some of the facts.
Take, for an example, somebody walks up to you and says, I got this great thing in this box. What's in it? Oh, I can't tell you. You got to buy it first. You going to buy that box off of them? No, of course not.
Probably not.
But that's what our Congress did. They bought the box full of dog shit.
All right. Well, here's some things that people may not know about Pence right now. Number one, and some people may like this, some people may not, he is a Christian. In September 2009...
Oh, man, the liberals are going to be going crazy. He's a Christian?
He had remarks at the Values Voter Summit. He said, "But as I think about the past 5 decades of my life, nothing can compare to the inexpressible joy I felt on a night in April 1978 when I gave my life to Jesus Christ." So, I mean, he's an outspoken Christian. So, like you said, liberals are probably going to be up in arms about that.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Trump kind of needed that. He needs to help get some of the...
Yeah, he needed to round the platform off.
Yeah, a little bit.
Send a signal. It's like, hey, we gotta play the middle ground some. We gotta give up the middle ground if we want to get independent voters. So I think he did that with on the abortion issue. I think that's what he did. I think that's exactly what he was doing, saying, I will concede to that point. A woman's body is a woman's right. I mean, he came out and said he didn't personally agree with abortion, but he agrees with, he's pro-choice.
Yes. Michael Pence also considered running for president in 2016, but that wasn't the first time he decided or thought about running for the White House. In 2009, he had trips to early primary states, and that kind of spurred some speculation that he was laying the groundwork for a 2012 run. And then in 2014, he made similar trips, but he didn't. He decided not to do so. In 1991, he wrote an essay for the Indiana Policy Review, Confessions of a Negative Campaigner, about he was wrong to run negative campaigns in the past. He says it was wrong to run negative campaigns in the past. Negative campaigns. Jesus, I can't talk today.
Are negative campaigns really even effective? When you see one of those commercials,
well, look at Trump. Do you think Trump would have made it as far as he has without being negative on the other candidates?
They came at him like that, I think.
I mean, it kind of went both ways.
I see a lot of the press really shit on him. And you just saw how he was being attacked, and I think, it sounds childish. They started it. Hey, man.
Now here's one that
he's kind of like one of those old school gentlemen. Like, if you're good to him, he'll be good to you.
Yeah.
Like you saw, like Kasich. What did he say? And did he say anything bad about Kasich? Can you think of anything bad that he said about Kasich during all those debates?
I don't think so, but I think he was kind of hoping that he would be his running mate. I think that he was looking at that as a possibility. And when Kasich started to gain some ground, he kind of stayed away from Kasich.
When did he ever gain ground?
He gained a little bit of ground. What was it? I think it was with Indiana, wasn't it? Wasn't it during that time?
Ohio.
Maybe it was state. Ohio. I don't remember.
In his own state.
Yeah, but I think...
But Kasich never got into the mud with him. He never got into the fighting.
No, he didn't. And Trump never went back.
He left him alone.
Yeah, it's very true.
So, I mean, it just shows you, Trump is playing by a different set of rules. Like, he honors other people that way, You get what you give, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it is with Trump. You get what you give. You come at Trump bad, you come at him negative. He'll bring it back threefold, and you'll be paying.
Yeah.
That's just what he does. He like he says, I punch back. I'm a counter puncher. Is what he says.
Pence also is a favorite of conservative brothers Charles and David Koch. So,
say that again?
He is a favorite of conservative brothers Charles and David Koch, the Koch brothers.
Koch brothers.
What?
I said, fucking Koch brothers.
Yeah, that's kind of... But
can something happen to where those guys will go broke?
Not with all these politicians in their pockets.
Sheesh.
That's the thing. And now he's got...
money.
We know Pence is there now, so... Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
What they do to even get rich? Does anybody know?
I don't know, but you can, or I can look it up really quick, I'm sure.
Let's see here. I'm going to go do some Googling. You talk.
While you do that, while you do that real quick, a couple other things. As the nationwide backlash against Indiana's Religious Freedom Restoration Act reached a fever pitch, Pence faced condemnation from all corners of liberal America. Miley Cyrus infamously took to Instagram to call him an asshole.
Who cares?
So Miley Cyrus called Pence an asshole. That's always fun.
Oh, wow. That's a great dialogue you got going on there, Miley Cyrus, after you came in and violated our children's eyes with that display. I'm going to go and twerk. I'm gonna come out with a big penis and shove it in your face. Fuck you, Miley Cyrus. I like her music. I mean, it's kind of strange, different, whatever. She's an artist. Everybody appreciates her for her artistic skills, not for her politics. I don't know why celebrities feel like they can abuse their celebrity status and dictate to us their politics. Like you had, what's his name, from the Bourne films?
Matt Damon?
Yeah, Matt Damon. He comes out, oh, we need gun control. We need it like they did in Australia. And then he's making millions of dollars off of films featuring nothing but violence with guns. It's like, come on, you can't have it both ways, man.
Yeah. Now, the biggest thing that some people say may bite Pence in the ass, before you get into the Koch brothers here, the one thing that was said, that he criticized Trump's proposed Muslim ban. He's, the calls to ban Muslims from entering the U.S. are offensive and unconstitutional, he tweeted in December of 2015.
Not if you declare war on them.
So, that's the one thing that might come back to bite him in the ass. Because
if he has a official declaration of war from our Congress and identify actors, he can have travel bans set on from people associated with them, or even based on suspicions.
True.
So he can do it that way. He can't just say, "Oh, you're a Muslim, stay out," but he can identify foreign adversaries and keep them out. He can do that, and I think that's what he'll do. I think what Trump is like a media magician, right? He knows what he's doing. If he wanted to elaborate on his plans, he would, right?
No, absolutely.
But he wants people talking about it. He wants people outraged, and they go to their friends. Trump, 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 tweet, tweet, tweet. Everybody's going crazy. Oh my God, Trump! And then it gets everybody talking about it. It's in everybody's minds. Negative or positive, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Trump is on everybody's mind, right?
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
So what did you find on the Koch brothers?
It's a basic Google search here. Nothing extraordinary. It says, I typed in a source of Koch brothers wealth, and you know how they have the little box up there. It goes, Koch companies are involved in industries such as the manufacturing, refining, and distribution of petroleum, chemicals, energy, fiber, intermediates and polymers, minerals, fertilizers, pulp and paper, chemical technology equipment, ranching, finance, commodities trading, and other ventures and investments. I mean, so these dudes are into everything. They got their fingers on everything, like ranching. You know what I mean? Like, what is intermediates and polymers? I don't even know what that is. And they own companies that manufacture that stuff.
Now, back to Pence here. What do you think? Do you think it's a smart choice for Trump? I mean, some of the other candidates that were out there for his possible running mate, such as Newt Gingrich, and then Chris Christie. There was also...
I don't know what his ground game looks like. I don't know what kind of machinery he has set up. But he does have a lot of help from very key members of the Republican Party, like Senator Jeff Sessions.
Yeah, and I mean,
very big.
The people that he did support Ted Cruz at one time. So
you got Newt Gingrich. I think Newt lost a VP position
because he's so outspoken.
No, not that. I think it would actually help him. But he criticized Trump, and they have audio of that.
No.
So I think it would be like, oh, Newt's can't even get behind the Trump.
Honestly,
I get behind the Donald.
I honestly see if Trump gets in as president, I do see Newt probably being someone like Secretary of State or something like that. Especially with how recently he's been the one that most news stations are going to whenever anything goes on abroad. They talk to him for some reason. Very strange, but that's been what's happening. So I could see something like that coming about. I want to know what happened to Howard Stern. I'm pretty sure he promised Howard Stern he would be in his administration also. Just saying.
He's going to be on the ethics board.
Secretary of Interior.
Get the First Lady in here, and we're going to throw some baloney on her ass.
Smallest penis contest.
Melania Trump's pretty damn hot, man.
Smallest penis contest on the front lawn.
I can't wait to have her as the First Lady. You know. Baba Booey.
Oh, man. Now, getting out of politics and all this shit that's going on in the world, there's a couple interesting, tech news. For all of you Spotify users out there, this could be affecting you down the line here. The big thing that's been going on over the past few years, if anybody's been paying attention, is the copyright royalty on music. You know, basically, when you use Spotify, if you use the free option, somebody is still paying for that music. Spotify is still having to pay royalties for that music. And that's why there's ads on Spotify. Now, again, you can pay $10 a month, have no ads, and that takes care of everything.
You getting paid by Spotify for this plug or what?
I am not. Kind of wish I was, though. But it seems that starting in... Let's see, what do we have here? Streaming services will pay publishers between 2018 and 2022 an unknown rate as of right now. So starting in 2018, nobody's really sure what the rate's going to be. Now, iTunes has come up with an idea of where for each 100 plays equal to the royalties of one download, a company would have to pay 9.1 cents in songwriting royalties. So that's for each 100 plays. That's kind of ridiculous, but that's kind of what looks like is going to happen. Something similar to that. There's been ongoing talks.
Does Spotify make money?
I would think they have to. I mean, I have Spotify. I spend the $10 a month. I have Spotify.
So what happens if you're not making money? Like if I was like running like a radio station, you know, I didn't make any money and I was playing music, like would I have to pay royalties?
No, you have to pay royalties no matter what. If you're playing that music, because the companies can go and make a deal with the label. Like if Spotify wanted to go to Warner Brothers label, I don't even know if they still have a label, but if they wanted to go to Warner Brothers label and say, hey, you know, for every song we play, we'll pay you this much, you know, and Warner Brothers goes, that's fine, then that's all they'll need to pay. But there's a lot of companies that
they should be paying them for playing their music. It should be the other way around, really.
You would think, but I guess not so much.
You don't want, doing them the service.
Well, you got to remember, a lot of radio stations, not so much Spotify. If you're talking about radio stations,
it's about having a stranglehold on the airwaves.
Yeah. But the radio stations make money from the commercials, not from...
And that's the reason why we get shit music on the radios to begin with, so...
Yeah, exactly. Very true.
I mean, everybody knows that.
But you can think artists like...
The shit music part, I mean...
You can thank artists like Taylor Swift for all this shit, because she's upset that she's not getting her cut when her song is getting played on Spotify.
Taylor, she's a rich man's plaything. She is.
This could affect the way we pay and utilize music apps and streaming devices and such down the line in the future. So definitely,
how does this affect the law?
What do you mean? I mean, it's the copyright law. You know, copyright. It's all about that. So, however, that's...
I mean, as long as the laws aren't changing, I guess. Maybe they're setting a precedent, and then they can sue in the future. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know.
Maybe.
But as long as the laws say they change or stay the same, I don't really see how anything will be affected, Like, I don't know enough about the subject, to be honest.
I mean, I don't either. I just kind of read this earlier today, and I was just like, whoa, I mean, it's still a couple years away.
What's it going to do with Pandora?
Again, well, Pandora is just like, almost, not just like Spotify, but it's similar. Same with iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify. They're all in the same idea. The difference with Spotify is you can pick what songs you want to listen to, where Pandora is not so much. Same with iHeartRadio. But, I mean, those are companies also that...
Who streams Clear Channel's stuff? Because Clear Channel basically runs everything.
Clear Channel, I know it's on iHeart, because I know some of our local radio stations are on Clear Channel, and you can hear them on iHeart, but...
Yeah, it's iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
So, basically, they're going to try and shut down these other providers and have everybody on iHeart.
That's probably the...
I think that's the play, because I'm looking at it right now. Clear Channel built iHeartRadio. So there you go.
Oh, well, there you have it. And then,
is there other main media providers other than Clear Channel?
There's some other ones. There's like radio.com and stuff like that, but there's not... iHeart's probably the biggest when it comes to...
Well, I mean, like overall, like the umbrella corporation above everything. Clear Channel was the umbrella corporation. Everybody else is like they're all organized under Clear Channel for the most part. And I think I'm going to do some Googling here. Clear Channel mother company. Let's see.
Real quick, I do want to say, I just found this while you're looking for that. Jumping back a little bit to the Michael Pence thing. A quote from him talking about Donald
Bain
Trump.
Capital.
Real quick, Pence says, Donald Trump understands the anxiety and the aspiration of the American people like no leader since Reagan. So that's very interesting. But I just saw that, so I thought I'd throw that out there.
So I'm going to do some digging right now on our CS podcast. This is like something I love to do. Okay, we got iHeart goes to Clear Channel, ClearHeart goes to Bain Capital. Who owns Bain Capital? Okay. Bain owned by Google search. What are you telling me, Google? Let's see. Computer's running kind of slow right now. Go ahead, talk away.
I really don't have anything else to say right now. I have another story I want to bring up, but that's kind of our ending story, so...
Okay, well, we'll wait for this result to pop up. See, Google knows what I'm looking for. I forgot to put in the Bain Cap, like the capital part of Bain Capital. Mm-hmm. And it did it for me.
Good job, Google.
Come on, Google, load up. My computer's running real slow.
Bain Capital is a global alternative investment firm based in Boston, Massachusetts. It specializes in private equity, venture capital, and credit products. Founders, Mitt Romney and Bill Bain. As of June 2014, the firm managed more than $75 billion of investor capital across its various investment platforms. So people search for Bain & Company, the Blackstone Group, the Carlyle Group, TPG Capital. So there's a whole bunch that's connected with it.
Carlyle. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch connected to Bain Capital here. But it's interesting to see Mitt Romney as a founder.
That is interesting.
Oh boy! You see, it's like all the people in government have some kind of connection to some big business. It's almost not given anymore.
This is what people talk about: the generic Illuminati. That's what they're talking about because they don't know, so they just say Illuminati. You know, or like the Masons, or the Bohemian Club, or the Bilderbergers. And I mean, they look at it like as this like faceless entity, but it's really people. Mm-hmm. You know. So, let me see here. I'm going to look up Bain Capital. I'll just see what it says. Bain Capital, private equity company. Bill Bain, Mitt Romney. People also search for... Did you say that already?
Yeah, I did.
People also search for?
Yeah.
Okay.
While you're checking for that, just going to throw out there to everybody, remember, you can follow everything Common Sense Podcast Radio at our blog, www.CSPodcastRadio.wordpress.com. There you'll find links to our YouTube, to our iTunes, to our Facebook, everything right there. So, one-stop shop for everything there. You can find out a little bit of information on each of the hosts of all the shows. And you can see and find all of our previous shows from all of our various shows there. Previous episodes of our shows there. So, did you find it yet?
I'm not even sure what I'm looking for here.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I guess, go ahead with that last story.
Okay, so you know how I always like to end the night on a positive note, or not so much positive, but at least some humor.
Lighthearted, yes.
Lighthearted.
We love it.
I am actually not going to read the headline here because it really gives it away, and I don't want to give this away. So, the story is Talk About Walmart Horror Stories. Police in Delaware arrested a Newcastle man after he allegedly threw a glob of his own semen on the backside of a female Walmart shopper because he thought she was attractive.
Hey man, that ain't how it works. You don't just throw your cum at him to have a baby. It don't work that way.
First off, I want to thank Rachel, who is the co-host of the remote control for this story here. She pointed it out to me. But the 20-year-old victim says she was standing in an aisle texting when a man she later identified as the 22-year-old Frank J. Short Jr. walked by and said, "Excuse me." That's when she said, suddenly, she felt something wet on her buttocks, thigh, and her leg.
Really?
Initially believing the suspect had sneezed or spat on her, the woman looked down to find a glob of semen on her leg just below her knee.
You think you're going to do DNA tests on it?
I don't know. The gentleman allegedly continued to follow the victim until she was able to ditch him in an employees-only area, where she found two workers who escorted her to the security office and phoned the cops. The suspect was subsequently picked up on a number of charges, including offensive touching with bodily fluid, lewdness, and harassment. A preliminary test of the fluid Short reportedly discharged on the woman found it to be indicative of semen. Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
For his part, Short told troopers he had accidentally flung some mucus on the victim after sneezing into his hands. He later changed his story, claiming he threw some of his spit on the woman, whom he felt was hot. Pressed some more by officers, Short seemed to confess to the crime, saying he basically gets a thrill out of such an act. He was temporarily held at Wilmington Jail before bonding out. What the fuck is wrong with these people today? Like, come on.
I'm sure it's not the first time that's happened.
Probably not, but it's... Come on. Like, I hope I don't walk around and somebody just throws semen at me. Of course, I'm not hot, so that probably...
How do they know that it was semen? Where did he get it from? Was he just, like, jacking off in his pocket, or what?
Jesus Christ. I mean, true, because it was a customer. It's not like it was an employee, so it's not like somebody that he's seen multiple times there, you know, or it could have been.
He just had like a handful of cum? How does that happen?
I mean, maybe he saw her, ran into the restroom, rubbed one out real quick, kept it in his hand, and walked out.
He went and searched for her in the store and hit her with it.
Maybe.
Something ain't right about this. Sure it wasn't me.
Well, this comes from Gawker.com, so you can take it as you will, but there's a picture of the guy. He's surely a winner, let me tell you.
Well,
Well, shit. Sorry about that, guys. The recording kind of just stopped. We had a little technicality issue there. But
It's your host, CS Podcast, guys.
Laughing too much at the semen story. But so, yeah, I mean, the guy's definitely a winner in my book if you look at the picture. Oh, man. Ridiculous. I don't know, man. I've got really nothing else to say today, unless there's anything you want to cover.
I do. Check me out at Farside. I can be found on Twitter, Brian_Keppel. I got a couple episodes out there with Bobby, Ryan, and Rachel. We all throw in together on the CS Podcast Radio thing, so check us out. Send us some tweets. Send us some love. Back to you, Bob.
All right, thanks, man. And yeah, if you want to reach us, Twitter is at CSPodcastRadio. Same thing on Facebook, and then you can subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes just by searching for Common Sense Podcast Radio. That's where you will find all of our shows, whether it's The Far Side, The Remote Control, which is all about entertainment, or our flagship, The Common Sense Podcast Radio.
This is the flagship? Oh, man.
No, this is the one that got us starting into podcasting.
I thought it was B&Bo, man.
Well, it was, but
remember B&Bo?
We converted B&Bo into.
That's what my brother said. He said, man, I wish it was B&Bo. B&Bo's the thing, man.
Yeah, maybe at some point we'll bring B&Bo back. What do you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say no to that.
But
Jim cooking show, B&Bo Cook.
B&Bo Cook. Oh, fuck.
Make like chicken patties.
Make chicken patties.
And we'll have like hot sauce and ketchup. And we'll make Rachel cook them while we talk about stuff on the couch.
You just say that because I make chicken patties before every fucking episode.
I did too.
For your information, they're quick and easy to make, and they're filling, okay?
Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with chicken patties. The chicken patties are life, man. How about the Mexican pizzas? Oh, man.
Yeah, not a big Mexican pizza fan.
Remember Mexican pizzas back in high school?
Dude, I didn't eat the Mexican pizzas.
Oh, man, you don't know what you're missing. I wish they sold those in stores. Those things were the best. Jeez. Oh.
Just stop at the high school one day and say, hey, can I get some?
I'm tempted. You might just go back
How
in
much
there.
is school lunch? Like $2? Just say, hey, here's a tenner. Give me some.
It's $1.10.
$1? Jesus Christ. Oh,
yeah.
Man. Well, we completely got off subject there.
That was a hell of an ending there.
But
just hit the button and just stop recording right here.
Just stop it right here?
Yeah, just stop it right here.
Right.